Have you ever looked at Subnautica and thought about how you could preserve the ecosystem, not hurting this wonderful planet? Well, that's exactly what I did. In today's video, I will be playing as a pacifist. That means I cannot harm any creatures, I cannot harm any plants, and as well as that I cannot indirectly cause a creature any harm. This includes crash fish, and as well as that gastropods accidentally kill another creature. I can in no way, shape, or form cause that to happen. That also means I can't use table coral, acid mushrooms, or creep vine seed clusters for any reason at all. The only time I can make an exception is if it was necessary to beat the game, and that was the only time I was able to harm plants. Anyways, at the start of the challenge, I immediately started gathering as much resources as possible to make as many O2 tanks as I needed, because I couldn't make a reed breather, and as well as that, I couldn't make a sea glide, so I knew I would need a bunch of oxygen tanks. After making all of those standard O2 tanks, I decided to upgrade all of them to high capacity O2 tanks because I needed as much oxygen time as possible, as I wouldn't have a reed breather to help me out during my time. After I had gotten all of the high capacity O2 tanks, I immediately went into the sparse reef in the hopes to find a time capsule. Time capsules were absolutely needed if I wanted to get a habitat builder, because I couldn't harm any table coral. As well as that, as soon as I would be able to get the habitat builder, I would be able to make a coffee vending machine, and as well as a normal vending machine to help out with food and water. But while I was here, I did find only one time capsule, and that one time capsule really didn't have anything important, just had one large filtered water bottle, which was still fundamental. After this, I went into the crash zone to hopefully find a battery. I needed a battery because I wasn't able to go anywhere without it, really. And while I was here, I did manage to find one inside of a crate. But another thing that also managed to find me was a Reaper Leviathan. First time you guys out. I don't need a sea glide to outmaneuver you.
Oxygen.
However, I do need oxygen to outmaneuver you. Big flying bitch. After getting the battery, I immediately went home and made the scanner as fast as possible because I needed the scanner to, well, get all of the stuff that I needed. After this, I also went around and looking for time capsules, and I did manage to find one inside of the grassy plateau. It really didn't have too much. It had one plus 2 ingot, one advanced wiring kit, and 2 seeds, which I really wasn't going to use. After that, I did go into the dunes to hopefully find more time capsules, but I only found a Reaper Leviathan, and I decided to scan him while I was at it.
Seek fluid intake.
Ooh, he actually grabbed it. You don't mind if I heal, right? Yeah, you don't mind. After scanning the Reaper Leviathan, I managed to find a time capsule inside the grassy plateau which had ultra glide fins. I then also went over into the northwest blood cup, which only contained the ghost Leviathan. There was no time capsules to find over here, so I promptly dodged him, and then after that, left his home. I managed to find another one at the blood cup trench, and then after this, I would find another one at the grassy plateau, which had exactly what I wanted, a water filtration suit, and as well as that, a laser cutter. After this, I did manage to find another one in the mountains which had a stasis rifle loaded with an ion battery, which was extremely helpful when it came to Reaper Leviathans. After all of that happened, I managed to go back and scan the vending machine, which I needed for later. Throughout this time, I wasn't able to find any habitat builders, making that scan completely useless. Throughout this entire time, I looked for 4 hours for time capsules with a habitat builder. I wasn't able to find one with a habitat builder, meaning I was limited on my food. And this was all of the time capsules I opened. So keeping in mind that I was limited on all the food, I decided that I should probably make the dive all the way down to the lava castle. If not, I'd just be constantly dying of hunger, which I didn't want to happen. Now after all of that, I decided to make my way all the way down to the lava zone. And I made sure to pack as many high capacity O2 tanks as possible because I didn't have a rebreather or a sea glide, so it was going to be a slow journey to get there. And as I was going there, the river prowlers really didn't bother me too much, neither did the ghost Leviathan. And as I was entering the lava zone, the warpers didn't bother me too much either. And now I was close to the lava castle, I saw the sea dragon and kind of just swam away. And now I was able to enter the lava castle and get inside the precursor base. And as soon as I got inside the precursor base, I immediately activated the portal to get back to the gun. And after I went back to the gun, I got the purple tablet from there and then came back down and got the blue tablet. And then I started making my journey all the way down to the main facility research area. But the sea dragon did decide to attack me, but it didn't bother me too much. I then opened the first force field, and then, as well as that, opened up the portal to the mushroom caves, and then went back home to make another blue tablet for the second force field. After getting the second blue tablet for the other force field, I opened it up and met the serum for Leviathan. Then after that, I focused on getting all of the seeds I would need for the hatching enzymes, and once I had them all gathered up, I immediately went back home into my life pod and made the hatching enzymes and went back to the incubator and hatched them. After that had happened, a weird glitch kind of occurred where the juvenile emperors kind of just kept spinning in place, and they didn't really move too much, neither did they go to the portal. So I eventually had to use the portal, which then fixed the bug and caused them to go back up to the surface. I then was able to cure the disease using enzyme 42 and eventually turn off the gun. And then after that, I had to harm 3 creepvine seed clusters specifically to beat the game, because I couldn't really progress without them. I needed 1 for the Cyclops, 1 for the mobile vehicle bay, and 1 for the power cell, which I needed all of those to make the shield generator so that way I can make the cockpit to the rocket. Speaking of the rocket, I have yet to get the blueprint for it yet, which means I still need to go into the Aurora, but I don't need a radiation suit to get into the Aurora. All I need is medkits, and that's exactly what I used. Using the medkit fabricator inside the life pod, I got as much medkits as possible and started my journey all the way over there. I would also use the side entrance to the Aurora so that way I can get in as fast as possible. I then would also use the laser cutter that I got from the time capsule earlier on to get inside the sealed area. Then after this, since I played Subnautica so much, I already know the code, which is 2679, and I was able to get inside and get the rocket blueprint, and eventually was able to get out of there. I then also started looking for resources, but as I was looking for resources, I came across another Reaper Leviathan. Yeah, I scanned him. He's quiet, which is weird. After that instance with the Reaper Leviathan, I then was able to build the platform and as well as that to lift. I also then went into the Lost River to find all of the stuff I would need for the boosters and as well as the fuel reserves. And after being down here and getting all the resources I needed, it was time to go back up to the surface, and I was able to craft the boosters and then after that the fuel reserves. Thankfully, I already crafted a shield generator from the Cyclops. And then after that, painted up my rocket and gave it a pacifist name. However, I'm going to be honest with you, the colors for this rocket kind of look really bad. After this, I then flipped all the levers I needed for the rocket and was ready to get my time capsule going. And now it was time to beat the game and get off of this planet. I ended up having to hurt around 4 creep vines and as well as that 4 table coral samples, and that was it. Anyways, thank you all for watching.